Alan Garcia sat alone in the darkened observatory, his eyes fixed on the computer screen. For 3 nights straight, the same signal appeared in his data. At first, he thought it was just random noise or equipment error. Now he wasn't so sure. "This can't be right," he muttered, running the analysis program again. The pattern remained unchanged. A series of pulses, too regular to be natural, coming from somewhere beyond Neptune's orbit. Alan rubbed his tired eyes and reached for his phone. Olivia Wright was enjoying her first day off in weeks when her phone buzzed. She glanced at the caller ID and sighed. Alan calling at 2 a.m. could only mean trouble or something important. "Alan, this better be good." "Olivia, I need you to look at something. I've been tracking an unusual signal for 3 nights now. Can't this wait until morning?" "No, it can't. I've never seen anything like this before." 20 minutes later, Olivia arrived at the observatory, still wearing sweatpants and a faded NASA t-shirt. Alan immediately showed her the data. "See these pulses? They repeat exactly every 57.3 seconds. Nothing natural does that." Olivia studied the screen. "Have you ruled out satellite interference? Could be military." "First thing I checked. This signal is coming from way beyond our solar system, at least 40 light-years away. That would mean—" Olivia paused, realizing the implications. "Yeah," Alan nodded. "Someone out there is broadcasting." Over the next week, they worked non-stop, pulling in favors from colleagues across NASA's network. By day 5, they had confirmation from 3 other observatories. "We need to tell someone," Olivia said as they reviewed the combined data. "Who?" "The government. The media. This could cause panic." "Let's start with Dr. Miller. He has the security clearance to handle this properly." Dr. Frank Miller listened carefully as they presented their findings. His normally cheerful face grew more serious with each slide. "You're certain this isn't terrestrial or a natural phenomenon?" he asked. "Absolutely certain," Olivia replied. "The signal contains mathematical sequences that couldn't occur naturally." "And there's more," Alan added. "We've begun decoding parts of it. It's not just random signals, it's a message." Dr. Miller leaned forward. "What kind of message?" "That's the troubling part," Olivia said, pulling up a preliminary translation. "It appears to be a warning." Within days, a special team was assembled in a secure facility beneath JPL. Linguists, cryptographers, and scientists worked around the clock to decode the alien transmission. Susan Baker, the team's lead linguist, made the breakthrough on day 11. The message repeats in multiple formats, almost like they're trying different ways to communicate, she explained. They're using universal mathematical concepts as a bridge to language. By week 3, they had enough decoded to understand the core message. It wasn't good news. "They're monitoring us," Alan explained to the assembled officials. "Not just one alien species, but multiple civilizations. They've been watching Earth for centuries." "But why?" asked the NASA director. Olivia stood up. "They're concerned about our development trajectory. According to this message, we're advancing faster than most species they've encountered. They find our combination of intelligence and aggression concerning." "Are they threatening us?" a military officer asked. "Not exactly," Susan replied. "It's more like they're evaluating us. The message suggests they've seen civilizations like ours before, and those civilizations eventually pose problems for the galactic community." Ellen pulled up the final section they decoded. "This part is clearly a warning. They believe humanity has potential beyond what we currently understand, but they're divided on whether that's a good thing." The room fell silent as everyone absorbed the implications. Humans weren't alone in the universe, and some of their cosmic neighbors were worried about what humanity might become. "So what happens next?" someone finally asked. Olivia looked at Alan, then back to the group. "According to the message, they're sending representatives to make contact. They'll be here in 6 months." Commander Peter Dawson stood on the observation deck of Space Station Freedom, watching Earth rotate slowly beneath him. 6 months had passed since the discovery of the alien message. 6 months of frantic preparation, worldwide debate, and sleepless nights. "Commander, we have contact." Lieutenant Maria Foster's voice cracked through his earpiece. "Unknown vessel just appeared at the edge of lunar orbit." "Appeared?" Peter asked. "No approach trajectory." "No, sir. It just showed up. 1 second nothing, next second it was there." Peter took a deep breath. "Alert all stations. I'm heading to command." The station's command center buzzed with controlled urgency as officers tracked the alien ship's approach. On the main screen, a sleek silver object moved toward them. It was smaller than expected, perhaps only twice the size of a commercial airliner. "Are they broadcasting?" Peter asked. "Yes, sir," replied Communications Officer Ben Grant. "They're requesting permission to dock." For a moment, Peter felt the weight of humanity on his shoulders. As commander of the newly formed Space Defense Forces Orbital Headquarters, he would be the first human to officially make contact. "Open a channel," he ordered. "This is Commander Peter Dawson of Earth Space Station Freedom. We welcome your arrival and accept your request to dock." The response came immediately, in perfect English. "Commander Dawson, we acknowledge. We will match your docking protocols. Expect arrival in 20 minutes." The alien ship moved with impossible precision, approaching the special docking bay constructed just for this moment. Engineers had worked day and night for months to create an adaptable airlock system that could accommodate unknown alien technology. Peter stood at the inner doorway with his small reception team. Dr. Olivia Wright, who had helped discover the original signal, Sofia Mendez, Earth's chief diplomat, and 2 security officers who tried not to look nervous. "Remember," Sofia whispered, "we represent all of humanity now." The airlock cycled, and the inner door slid open. The beam that stepped through was nothing like what they expected. Nearly human in appearance, it stood about 7 feet tall with pale blue skin and large dark eyes. It wore what looked like a simple white robe. "I am the Arbiter," it said in that same perfect English. "I speak for the Galactic Concord." Peter stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth. I'm Commander Dawson." The Arbiter nodded. "Your species has advanced quickly, faster than most we have encountered." "Is that why you've come?" asked Sophia. "Because of our advancement." "Yes. The Concord maintains peace through balanced development." The Arbiter gestured, and 2 more aliens entered behind it. "We have watched your civilization progress from simple tools to quantum computing in a remarkably short time." "And that concerns you?" Dr. Wright asked. The Arbiter's expression remained neutral. "Unchecked technological growth has led to disaster in other cases. The Concord exists to prevent such outcomes." Over the next hours, they moved to a conference room where the Arbiter explained the nature of the Galactic Concord, a coalition of over 300 species that had maintained peace for millennia through controlled technological advancement. "We have seen civilizations like yours before," the Arbiter said. "Species that advance rapidly often develop technologies that threaten galactic stability before they develop the wisdom to use them properly." "What kind of technologies?" asked Peter. "Faster than light travel, weaponized antimatter, dimensional physics manipulation." The Arbiter's eyes seemed to darken. "Your scientists are already exploring these areas." Later, after the aliens returned to their ship to allow humans time to process, Peter met with Jack Bennett, his military advisor, in a secure room. "They're afraid of us," Jack said bluntly. "Why would advanced aliens fear humans?" asked Sophia. "Because," Dr. Wright interjected, "they see what we might become, not what we are now." Peter stared out the window at the alien vessel. "The question is, what do they plan to do about it?" 3 days after first contact, the Arbiter requested a meeting with Earth's leaders. The United Nations General Assembly Hall in New York became the venue for humanity's most important diplomatic summit. World leaders sat in tense silence as the Arbiter stood at the podium. Behind it stood 2 other aliens, one introduced as a historical observer, and another as a compliance overseer. The Galactic Concord has existed for 50,000 of your years, the Arbiter began. In that time, we have encountered 17 civilizations with development patterns similar to humanity's. 12 of those civilizations eventually caused catastrophic damage to surrounding systems. Sophia Mendez, seated in the front row as Earth's head diplomat, noticed how the alien's words were carefully chosen to sound reasonable while delivering a threat. The Concord cannot allow such risks to continue, the Arbiter continued. Therefore, we present humanity with a choice. The large screen behind the aliens lit up with a list of technologies. The room grew even quieter. Earth must cease all research into these areas immediately, the Arbiter said. Faster than light propulsion, dimensional phase technology, quantum consciousness transfer, antimatter weaponization, self-replicating artificial intelligence. President Helen Williams of the United States raised her hand. Many of these technologies could benefit humanity peacefully. Why restrict them completely? History has shown that technological capabilities eventually reach their maximum potential application. The Arbiter replied, a civilization that can travel between stars will eventually spread to all stars within reach. One that can manipulate dimensions will eventually create weapons that break reality itself. Sophia stood up. What happens if we don't agree to these restrictions? The Arbiter's expression didn't change. Then containment protocols will be implemented. Containment? Asked the Chinese premier. Your system would be isolated. No ships would be permitted to leave your solar system. Any attempt would be stopped. Whispers broke out across the assembly hall. The Russian president stood next. And if we resist this containment? The Arbiter gestured to the compliance overseer, who stepped forward. Resistance would necessitate stronger measures, the new alien said, its voice deeper and colder than the Arbiter's. The Concord has means to ensure compliance. After the public meeting, a smaller group gathered in a secure conference room. Sophia Mendez sat with military advisors, scientists, and key world leaders. They're giving us an ultimatum, Jack Bennett said, pounding his fist on the table. Stop advancing or be stopped. We don't know their true capabilities, the Japanese Prime Minister cautioned. If they can appear in our orbit without detection, their technology far exceeds ours. Dr. Wright shook her head. Something doesn't add up. If they're so advanced, why do they fear our potential so much? Fear is exactly what this is, Jack insisted. They're afraid of what humans might become. President Williams looked around the table. What are our options? We could agree to their terms, Sophia said, at least publicly. And privately? Asked the Russian president. Sophia hesitated. We need more information before making any final decisions. I propose we continue diplomatic engagement while we assess our position. That evening, after most officials had left, Jack Bennett met privately with General Diane Foster and Dr. Noah Patil in a small, secured room. They want to cage us, Jack said. Keep us confined to our little corner of the galaxy forever, or until they decide we're no longer a threat, Dr. Patil added. General Foster looked at them both. What if we are a threat to them? Not because we're dangerous, but because we represent something they can't control. What are you suggesting? Jack asked. I'm suggesting we don't take this lying down, Foster replied. President Williams has authorized me to form a special contingency group off the books. For what purpose? Dr. Patil asked. Foster's eyes hardened. To ensure humanity maintains its right to determine its own future by any means necessary. As they spoke, across town, the Arbiter was delivering its final message to Sophia Mendez. You have 1 month to decide, it said. Choose wisely. The Concord's patience has limits. General Diane Foster looked out over the frozen Arctic landscape that surrounded the hidden base. From the surface, nothing was visible except an old weather station. Below ground stretched a complex that didn't officially exist. Status report, she ordered as she entered the main control room. All systems operational, replied Major Greg Patterson. We've maintained complete communication blackout as ordered. The aliens have no idea we're here. Foster nodded. And Dr. Patel, in his lab, says he's made a breakthrough. Foster found Noah Patel surrounded by holographic equations that rotated slowly in the air. The scientist barely looked up when she entered. I think I understand why they're scared of us, he said without greeting. Tell me. Patil gestured at his equations. It's not just about technology. It's about how we approach problems. Human brains make connections that seem to be unique. He brought up images of brain scans. I've been studying the limited data we have on alien biology. Their neural pathways are more structured, more orderly than ours. How does that help us? Foster asked. They think linearly. We think messily, creatively. It's why humans can make intuitive leaps they might not. And it might be why we're advancing faster than they expected. He pointed to a simulation. I believe we can use this difference to our advantage. Meanwhile, halfway around the world, Navy Captain Lucas Rivera stood in a massive underground hangar, staring up at the experimental vessel Defiance. Originally designed as a Mars transit ship, it had been secretly modified over the past 3 weeks. Will she fly? He asked the chief engineer. She'll fly, replied Engineer Kelly Mason. But I can't guarantee what happens when we engage the new drive. Has it been tested? In simulation only. This technology was on their prohibited list. Captain, we've had to work with theoretical models. Rivera walked around the sleek ship, and they won't detect the launch. The mountain provides natural shielding, and we've developed a signal masking system based on their own technology. It's not perfect, but it should give us a window to clear Earth orbit. Back in Washington, Sofia Mendez continued negotiations with the Arbiter, drawing out discussions about implementation details, verification protocols, and transition periods. Your species displays admirable diplomatic thoroughness, the Arbiter commented after another long session. Sofia smiled politely. When decisions affect our entire civilization, we need to be thorough. The Concord appreciates your cooperation, the Arbiter said. Some members had predicted resistance. We understand the realities, Sofia replied carefully. Though I must ask again about the development exemptions for medical technologies. As the Arbiter launched into another lengthy explanation, Sofia's hidden earpiece buzzed with a coded message. Phoenix nest prepared. Eagle flies at dawn. In a university basement, game theorist Kimberly Vance met with Admiral Eric Washington. Her office walls were covered with complex decision trees and probability matrices. If we move too aggressively, they'll respond with containment, she explained. Too passively, and they'll assume control over our development permanently. What's the optimal strategy? Washington asked. A demonstration, she replied. Something that shows capability without direct aggression. We need to change the calculation of risk versus benefit in their minds. You're suggesting we show them what we could do without actually doing it. Exactly. Humans understand deterrence. Their psychology seems different, but similar enough for this approach to work. The Admiral studied her diagrams. We'd need perfect timing, and a backup plan if they respond badly. The Mars Research Station would be the perfect location, Kimberly said. Remote enough to avoid Earth casualties if things go wrong, close enough to make our point. On the edge of Earth's atmosphere, a small alien probe monitored communications. It detected unusual patterns in data transmissions between military installations. The compliance overseer received these reports with concern. They are concealing something, it told the Arbiter. I recommend immediate inspection of their orbital facilities. Not yet, the Arbiter replied. We must give diplomacy its chance. And if diplomacy fails, asked the Overseer. The Arbiter's expression hardened. Then we implement containment protocols, as required by Concord law. Sofia Mendez smiled pleasantly across the negotiation table at the Arbiter. For 2 weeks straight, she had managed to keep the alien representative occupied with endless discussions about implementation protocols and compliance timelines. We have prepared another draft agreement, she said, sliding a tablet toward the alien. This version addresses your concerns about verification while respecting human sovereignty. The Arbiter's large eyes blinked slowly as it reviewed the document. This is the 7th revision, Diplomat Mendes. The Concord expected quicker progress. Complex agreements between civilizations require careful consideration, Sophia replied. Would you prefer we rush and create misunderstandings later? While the diplomatic dance continued in Washington, Admiral Eric Washington supervised final preparations at the secret underwater base in the Pacific. Technicians worked around the clock on a fleet of unmanned defense platforms disguised as weather satellites. Time until deployment. Washington asked his chief engineer. 6 hours, sir. We'll have full coverage of Mars orbit by 800 tomorrow. The admiral nodded. And the stealth measures. Dr. Patel's technology works. Our tests show the platforms appear as space debris to their scanning methods. Washington looked at the tactical display. We'll only get one chance at this. If they detect our preparations before we're ready. The engineer finished his thought. Then humanity's resistance ends before it begins. At that moment, the Defiance prepared for launch from its hidden hangar beneath the Rocky Mountains. Captain Rivera reviewed the flight plan with his small crew. Once we clear Earth's gravity well, we engage the experimental drive for exactly 7.2 seconds, he explained. That should place us behind Mars' natural orbit, shielded from direct observation. And if the drive doesn't work as expected? Asked his first officer. Then we abort and return using conventional engines. The mission appears as a routine supply run to Mars Station. Rivera turned to Dr. Olivia Wright and Dr. Alan Garcia, who had joined the crew as scientific advisors. You two understand what we're looking for. Olivia nodded. The signal patterns suggest the Concorde maintains monitoring stations throughout our solar system. If we can locate one, we might access their data network. Without being detected, Garcia added, no small task. On Mars, scientists at Research Station Olympus received encrypted orders. The station had officially been conducting atmospheric research. In reality, it housed prototype defense systems developed after the alien message was first decoded. Station Director Evelyn Cruz gathered her team. In approximately 36 hours, we may receive unwelcome visitors. When they arrive, we'll execute Operation Mirror Shield. Will it work against their technology? Asked one researcher. Dr. Patel believes so. Their scanning systems operate on principles we can now understand. We don't need to match their power, just disrupt their expectations. Back in Washington, the compliance overseer grew suspicious of the prolonged negotiations. It requested a private meeting with the Arbiter. The humans are delaying, it stated. Our orbital sensors have detected unusual energy patterns at multiple locations. What kind of patterns? Asked the Arbiter. Inconsistent with their claimed technology level. I recommend immediate inspection of their Mars installation. The Arbiter considered this. Very well. Dispatch an enforcement vessel, but maintain minimal presence. We don't want to provoke unnecessarily. The overseer left to execute the order, unaware that its communication had been intercepted by one of Kimberly Vance's surveillance programs. Within minutes, Admiral Washington received the alert. They took the bait. He told General Foster over their secure line. Enforcement vessel heading to Mars. Is the station ready? Foster asked. As ready as it can be. Now we see if Dr. Patel's theories hold up. 12 hours later, a sleek alien craft approached Mars. Its mission was simple: inspect the human research station and eliminate any prohibited technology. As it entered orbit around the red planet, the craft's sensors detected nothing unusual. The human facility appeared primitive, exactly as expected. The alien commander ordered a closer approach. That's when everything changed. Hidden defense platforms activated simultaneously, not firing weapons, but creating the unique energy field that Dr. Patel had designed based on his understanding of alien neural processing. When the field hit the enforcement vessel, its targeting systems failed completely. Its engines sputtered and stalled. For the first time in Concord history, an enforcement action had been successfully countered. The Defiance drifted silently through the darkness of space, its experimental engines powered down to avoid detection. Captain Rivera stared at the navigation display as Dr. Garcia made final adjustments to their scanning equipment. "Are you sure this is the right location?" Rivera asked. "According to the coordinates we extracted from the alien enforcement vessel's trajectory data, something significant should be right here," Dr. Garcia replied. Dr. Wright floated over to join them. "The Concorde wouldn't leave this region unmonitored. There has to be something." "Try the new frequency pattern," Rivera suggested. Garcia adjusted the scanners again. Suddenly, the display lit up with a previously invisible structure. A massive space station hung in the void, its design unlike anything humans had ever built. "There it is," Wright whispered. "A Concorde monitoring outpost." Rivera studied the readings. No obvious weapon systems, minimal life signs. This might be automated. "Can we get closer without being detected?" Garcia asked. "We're about to find out," Rivera replied, signaling his pilot to edge forward. The Defiance crept toward the alien structure, using the stealth technology developed from Dr. Patel's research. As they approached, they spotted several ships docked at the station. Different designs than the enforcement vessel they had encountered at Mars. "Multiple species," Wright noted. "The Concorde really is a coalition." Rivera made his decision. "We'll send in the probe. If it's detected, we abort immediately." A small drone-like device detached from the Defiance and moved toward an external data port on the station. Dr. Garcia controlled it remotely, his fingers dancing across the interface. "I'm in," he announced after several tense minutes. "Their security is focused on detecting physical intrusions, not data infiltration." Information began streaming across their screens. Star charts, species profiles, historical records. Wright's eyes widened as she processed what they were seeing. "This isn't just a monitoring station," she said. "It's an archive. They've been watching this sector for thousands of years." Garcia focused on a particular data stream. "I found something about Earth. It's a threat assessment." They watched in silence as the files revealed the truth. Earth wasn't the first civilization to show rapid technological advancement. There had been others, dozens of them across the galaxy. "Look at what happened to them," Rivera said grimly. The record showed systematic intervention. Some species accepted Concorde limitations and survived as client states. Others resisted and faced consequences ranging from technological suppression to complete isolation. And this one, Wright pointed to a file showing a star system now surrounded by a quarantine field. "The Nexeri. They were developing technology similar to what we're working on." "What happened to them?" Garcia asked. Wright's voice was flat. "Planetary bombardment followed by forced regression. They're still alive, but reduced to pre-industrial technology." Rivera leaned closer to the screen. "This isn't just about preventing dangerous technology. The Concorde is eliminating potential rivals." "Wait," Garcia said suddenly. "There's something else. Information about the Concorde leadership itself." New files appeared, showing the inner workings of the Galactic Coalition. The Concorde was dominated by 5 ancient species who had achieved technological plateaus centuries ago. Rather than continue advancing, they had chosen stability, imposing the same choice on all others they encountered. "They're stagnant," Wright realized. "They reached a certain level and stopped. Now they make sure no one surpasses them." "That's why they fear us," Rivera said. "Humans keep pushing boundaries." A sudden alarm blared through the ship. "We've been detected," the first officer called out. "Unknown vessel approaching rapidly." "Disconnect the probe and prepare for emergency jump," Rivera ordered. As the Defiance prepared to flee, Garcia downloaded as much data as possible. "I've got their security protocols, patrol routes, enforcement capabilities, everything we need." "And their weaknesses?" Rivera asked. Garcia nodded. "Those too." The Defiance's engines flared to life as an alien patrol ship appeared. They executed the experimental jump just as the patrol fired its first warning shot. Back on Earth, Sofia Mendez received an urgent message during her meeting with the Arbiter. She kept her face neutral, but felt a surge of hope. The Defiance had returned with critical information. "Is something wrong, Diplomat Mendez?" the Arbiter asked. "Not at all," she replied smoothly. "Just a reminder about our next scheduled discussion. Shall we continue?" The United Nations Assembly Hall had been transformed. At the center stood a circular table where Earth's unified delegation faced the full Concord representatives. The Arbiter was joined by 6 alien species, the highest-ranking Concord members ever to visit Earth. Admiral Eric Washington stood tall as he addressed the gathering. His military uniform gleamed under the lights, medals reflecting the seriousness of the moment. "For 3 months, we have discussed limitations on human development," he began. "Today, the conversation changes." Murmurs rippled through the alien delegation. The Arbiter's expression remained neutral, but the compliance overseer shifted uncomfortably. "First, a demonstration," Washington continued, nodding to his aide. The large screens around the room activated, showing a live feed from space. A small satellite orbiting Earth suddenly expanded, unfolding into a complex array that glowed with energy. "This is one of 200 defense platforms now positioned throughout our solar system," Washington explained. "They incorporate technology you specifically forbade us to develop." The compliance overseer stood abruptly. "This violates our agreement." "We never signed your agreement," General Foster replied calmly from her seat. "We negotiated while preparing alternatives." On the screens, the demonstration continued. The defense platform generated a field that bent light around it, then projected a targeted energy pulse that dissipated harmlessly in space. "We understand why you came to Earth," Washington continued. "We've learned the truth about the Galactic Concord." Captain Rivera stepped forward, accompanied by Dr. Wright and Dr. Garcia. Together, they presented the evidence recovered from the Concord outpost, records of other civilizations suppressed or destroyed for showing the same potential as humanity. "You're not peacekeepers," Rivera said. "You're gatekeepers, preventing anyone from surpassing your technological level." The Arbiter's calm finally broke. "You infiltrated a secure Concord facility. This is unprecedented." "So is your interference in our development," Foster countered. "The Nexari, the Voth, the Terran Collective, all civilizations with potential, all contained or eliminated." The alien representatives exchanged glances. Some appeared disturbed that humans knew these names. "You don't understand," the Arbiter said. "Unchecked advancement leads to chaos. The Concord maintains order." "No," Sofia Mendez interjected, rising from her seat. "The Concord maintains your dominance." "There's a difference." Washington nodded to another aide. The screens changed to show several massive ships rising from Earth's oceans, vessels that had been built in secret undersea facilities. "We could declare war," Washington said, "but that's not what humanity wants." Noah Patel stepped forward, his voice soft but clear. "Instead, we offer an alternative path. Humanity won't be contained, but we don't seek conflict." Kimberly Vance joined him, presenting what they called the Earth Doctrine on the screens. "Any aggressive action against Earth or human interests will trigger an automated response. Not an attack, but a technological cascade." "What does that mean?" demanded one of the alien representatives. "It means," Foster explained, "that we've developed systems designed to specifically counter Concord technology. Not to destroy you, but to ensure you cannot destroy us. You threaten the entire galactic order," the compliance overseer shouted. "No," Washington replied firmly. "We're changing it. Humanity will explore the stars. We will develop new technologies, but we have no interest in conquering or controlling others." Sofia stepped to the center of the room. "The choice is yours. Accept that humanity will chart its own course, or trigger a conflict that will inevitably lead to your own systems failing." The room fell silent. The Arbiter conferred quietly with the other representatives. Finally, The Arbiter spoke. Never in 50,000 years has the Concorde faced such a situation. You leave us little choice. There's always choice, Sophia replied. Coexistence is better than conflict. After hours of tense discussion, the aliens departed without formal agreement. As their ship left orbit, Earth's leaders gathered in a secure room beneath the UN building. Will they accept our terms? President Williams asked. They'll have to, Kimberly Vance replied. We've changed the calculation. Open conflict would cost them more than accepting our independence. Admiral Washington looked at the tactical display showing the alien ship moving away. This isn't over. They'll be watching us closely. Let them watch, Foster said. Humanity isn't afraid of being observed. We're only afraid of being caged. 5 years after humanity's confrontation with the galactic Concorde, Earth had changed dramatically. Cities now featured vertical gardens climbing up skyscrapers. Clean energy powered everything. And above, visible even in daylight, orbital construction platforms built the first generation of true deep space vessels. Sam Collins stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, Earth's largest orbital habitat. As head of the Interstellar Diplomatic Court, he watched the final preparations for humanity's first official mission beyond the solar system. Nervous? Asked Lily Chen, his deputy, joining him at the window. Cautiously optimistic, Sam replied. We've spent 5 years preparing for this moment. Below them, the Starship Explorer gleamed in the sunlight. Unlike the hastily modified Defiance that had made the dangerous journey to the Concorde outpost, Explorer represented the best of human innovation, combining technologies humans had developed with principles learned from studying alien designs. The Concorde representatives have arrived, Lily said. They're waiting in the conference room. Sam nodded. This meeting was unprecedented, the first formal diplomatic exchange since the confrontation. The Concorde had mostly kept its distance, maintaining observation posts at the edge of the solar system, but avoiding direct contact. In the conference room, 3 alien representatives waited. The Arbiter was not among them. Instead, a new envoy led the delegation, one introduced as a dialogue facilitator. Thank you for accepting our invitation, Sam said as he entered. The facilitator inclined its head. The Concorde has been reassessing its approach to emerging civilizations. Your species has prompted much discussion. Good discussions, I hope, Sam replied with a careful smile. Challenging ones, the alien admitted. For 50,000 years, the Concorde maintained stability through control. Your resistance forced us to consider alternatives. Lily displayed holographic images of Explorer and its planned journey. As agreed, we're sharing our flight plan. The Explorer will visit 3 star systems before returning. None have inhabited worlds according to your star charts. The facilitator studied the information. Your technological progress continues to exceed predictions. This vessel incorporates principles we didn't expect humans to master for decades. We work well under pressure, Sam said, and with proper motivation. The real purpose of the meeting came next. Sam activated a secure data terminal. We've prepared a proposal, not a request for permission. Humanity will explore the stars regardless, but an offer of cooperation. The aliens reviewed the document carefully. The Soul Accords, as humans called it, proposed a new relationship between Earth and the Concorde. Humanity would share certain discoveries and avoid interference with developing civilizations. In exchange, the Concorde would recognize Earth's sovereignty and right to advancement. This represents a fundamental shift in galactic relations, the facilitator noted. The old approach was unsustainable, Sam replied. Suppression breeds resistance. Cooperation offers better outcomes for everyone. After the meeting, Sam and Lily watched the Concorde vessel depart. Do you think they'll accept? Lily asked. Eventually. They're slow to change, but they're not foolish. They've realized they can't contain us without destroying themselves in the process. Later that day, Sam visited Explorer's Command Center, where Captain Maya Rodriguez was completing pre-launch checks. How did it go with our visitors? she asked. About as expected. They're still uncomfortable with our independence, but they're adapting. Maya gestured to the star map displaying their planned journey. Any last-minute advice for the first official human ambassador to the stars? Sam smiled. Remember what we learned from the Concorde's mistakes. Exploration without domination. Strength without aggression. And always keep communicating, even with those who initially see you as a threat. As Explorer prepared for departure, people across Earth gathered to watch the historic moment. In schools, workplaces, and homes, billions witnessed humanity's first purposeful step into the wider galaxy. The ship's engines glowed as it moved away from the station. Unlike the secretive mission of the Defiance, this journey was broadcast proudly for all to see, including any watching alien civilizations. Explorer to Mission Control, Captain Rodriguez's voice echoed across global communications. We are clear of Earth orbit and commencing interstellar drive sequence. The ship accelerated, then vanished in a flash of light that represented something the Concorde had never anticipated, a species that had faced limitation and turned it into liberation.